and welcome to the Douglas I'm On Mine show. I'm Blondell Thomas, the City of Douglas Public Information Manager, and we will be right back with some information to share with everyone. And welcome back to the Douglas I'm On Mine show. I am here now with Miss Georgia Henderson, the Community Development Director. She is not a stranger at all to the Douglas I'm On Mine show. So welcome to Georgia. I'm glad you're here today.
It's good to be here. Good to be back.
What some of you may or may not realize is Georgia's role with the city has transitioned. She's been with the city for over
Going on 24 years this year, yes.
25. I was going to give you an extra year there. But anyway, recently, well, not really recently, but over the last year, your job role has changed.
It has changed.
And so has mine. We've had a lot of changes within the city. So if you would just share with everyone about your new department and everything that you're actually the director over now.
Okay. Well, yes, I did inherit some more divisions. After Ms. Dale Batten retired, we merged the Community Development Department along with what we were already doing in public information. So what that included, added on for me, is the airport, animal control, code enforcement, grants, all that sort of stuff that I didn't get to deal with before, the city planner, and building inspection and permits, along with public information. So nice little hodgepodge of different little things or whatever, but I'm having fun, enjoying it. Some of the other things that we used to do prior to the change was the tourism, the Main Street, the Visitor Information Center, but I think people are getting used to now, word is getting out that we now have that contract with the Chamber of Commerce, who is taking on doing over the Main Street program, the tourism, and also organizing the events. And not too long ago, a ribbon cutting was held for the Douglas Visitor Information Center, which is now at the Chamber of Commerce. So exciting changes, a little different. We just want the community, especially as these events roll around, to just be a little patient. And we're going to see what the Chamber unleashes this year. I hear they have some great things planned, but we'll let them bring those announcements forth.
They do, and as you were saying with you, with your job transition into the community development role, economic development is included with that. So
that's correct.
It's definitely bringing good things to Douglas and different ideas and all. Well, as part of your position, some of the activities that you've got coming up, you've got, I think we just recently, we have the new grants administrator, and we've got some grants things coming up. Anyway, you can tell us more about what I was going on in the department.
One of the things we have, the city already had a grant. It's a Community Housing Investment Program grant. And with that, we have this little committee locally known called the GET Committee. It's Georgia Initiative for Community Housing. So you pair those two together, and what we do, we try to come up with a work plan and just try to find out what are our housing needs in the community, and we have a little grant that goes along with it for low-income families. So what we're planning on doing this year for the first time is hosting a community housing fair. That will be on April the 25th from, in conjunction with Georgia Cities Week that I know we're going to talk about. It's going to be at the Roundtree Center. But we just want to, we're going to have Department of Community Affairs there. They're going to talk about the grants and some of the housing programs that they have for first-time home buyers. We're going to have someone there who will give credit counseling. You know, sometimes people just get off track, get that little credit a little jacked up, but we're going to have someone there can help you get back on the right track and that sort of thing. The Douglas Housing Authority, they're going to participate. Someone from the Realtor's office will be there. So I'm not sure. We're still putting it all together. Y'all just bear with us, but just know that it's going to be April 25th at the Roundtree Center, 10 o'clock, and more will follow within the next upcoming weeks on it.
Right, yes. And as you mentioned, we do have Georgia Cities Week coming up. That will be the week of April the 20th, and it begins that week on Saturday. I know I'm saying a week, but it's actually Saturday, April the 20th. We'll have our community junk drop-off day, which is a monthly a monthly service that the city offers to our city residents, where you can clean up around your house, get rid of those big items, and come dump it at our city pole yard, which is located.
Free.
Yeah, and it's
Free.
right. And the city pole yard is located, I say, behind the post office, but it's kind of adjacent to the post office. But it's right there in the post office area,
Yeah.
so most people should be able to find it.
Within the ranks of the city, we know it as the pole yard,
Right.
but adjacent, I think the community is used to it, but you're right, Blondell, twice a month on the first and third Saturday.
Right.
But now the schedule is going to change up a little bit in April.
Right.
Yeah.
We're going to be able to offer some more things during that week from April the 22nd through April the 27th. We will also have tire amnesty drop-off, which is you can bring up to 4 tires and dispose of them. We can't accept the tractor tires because they were just really, really too large for us. But we're also, in conjunction with all the cleanup initiatives, we're going to have, let's see, Tire Amnesty Week,
Customer
junk
service
drop-off,
appreciation.
Customer service appreciation. I believe the entire week we're going to offer a junk cleanup.
Spring Junk Free Week.
Right.
Yes, that we normally do
entire
it during
week.
the entire month of April. So you have for those who, you kind of let it accumulate it a little bit. We got to give you a whole week to get around your home cleanup, and I think that's a great program. And we just have to remind everyone, is for residents within the city of Douglas who are our customers.
Right.
Right.
And one way that you can, if you happen to get asked if you have to provide proof, is just have your utility bill with you whenever you come to drop off your junk. That is the
That's a
hardest thing to
mouthful,
say.
isn't it?
But lastly, and most definitely one of the most important things we do that week, we have the Great American Cleanup on Saturday. And I just want to say the Great American Cleanup is a really good program that we offer downtown and also in the community. And it's from 8:30 to 11:30 a.m. and we need volunteers.
Yes, volunteers are needed. This is a great project for any civic group, individuals who want to get some service hours,
Right.
put in some sweat equity, whichever you prefer, to just jump in and volunteer with this. And I think it's going to be coordinated by our Public Works Department, which is under ESG,
Right.
whom we contract out with. But if you don't know whom to call, you can always call Blondell. Call her.
Call Blondell. And also with Great American Cleanup, some people say, well, that's like a national thing, and it is. It is part of Keep America Beautiful.
It is.
And on the role of that, we are looking for individuals who are motivated in the community who will be able to come in and actually help the city of Douglas start a Keep America Beautiful affiliate program, which we will definitely probably call Keep Douglas Beautiful. Not
That's
Keep
right.
America, but Keep
That's
Douglas
right.
Beautiful.
Long overdue. We've tried this maybe about 10 years ago to try to get some volunteers, but I'm all about if it didn't work then, let's try again. It just may be the right timing now, but we are looking for volunteers in the community who love to just get out hands-on and donate your time and help keep Douglas beautiful. So it's definitely going to be volunteer driven.
Right.
And when we get enough people, we've already had a couple people to call and put their
that's
names on the
good.
list. So
That's awesome.
if you're out there watching and waiting, which way no? Come on, sign up. We need you.
Yep. And also including that same week, we will have our regular city commission meeting on Monday, April the 22nd at 7 p.m. at City Hall. We will be talking to some people with Miss Tierney from the Coffee Alliance for the Arts about Muncham Music.
Yes.
That will be that Wednesday at 12 noon. And then we will have the Customer Appreciation Day at City Hall. Now, Customer Appreciation Day is something that our city clerk and Customer Care Center organizes and puts together, and probably from about 11 a.m. to about 2. I'm not real sure about the definite times yet, but we normally offer free hot dogs, a drink,
And a neat
some
little
chips.
prize this year.
Yep, and a neat little prize. We are in the planning stages of trying to make sure that we get some gift cards or some gift certificates for a lucky couple of city
Discounts on you.
city citizens, and they will get a discount. Yes,
That's awesome.
We're not sure about the monetary value yet, but they will receive some type of discount to go towards their utility bill.
Any help on the utilities? Yes.
So yes, if you have any questions at all about Georgia Cities Week, you can contact me at 912-383-0277, or if you have any questions about the Community Development Department and what they do, you can contact Georgia at 912-383-0277, or you can shoot her an email too. All of our information is located on the
Just call
City of
Blondell
Douglas
for it all. You'll
website.
find us.
All right, Georgia, well, thank you for being here.
Thank you for the invite back, Blondell.
All
You
right,
do a
we
great.
appreciate
You're
it.
doing a great job with the Doug
Oh,
Summer
thank
Mind show. I think
you.
it's been like a year now since I've hosted a show, but you're doing great.
Well, all right, I appreciate that. And I had some shoes to fill, some big shoes to fill. So
Whatever.
Anyway, kudos to us. No.
Yes.
All right, thank you, and we'll be right back. And welcome back to this edition of the Douglas on My Mind show. And I have a special guest with me now, Miss Lisa Tierney from Coffee Alliance for the Arts. Thank you for being here, Lisa.
You're quite welcome. I'm happy to be with you today.
Well, some of you may or may not know, tis the season for Munchin Music. And
Yes,
that
it
is
is.
one reason I asked them to come on and tell us some things that are going on with Coffee Alliance for the Arts. But some people may not quite know what Coffee Alliance for the Arts is. If you'll just,
Sure.
give a little explanation of what the organization does for us.
Sure. We've been around for, I think it's maybe 25, 30 years now. I didn't come into the fold until about 7 years ago, I guess, when I started at Coffee High School. But the Coffee Alliance for the Arts are here to foster and promote and to encourage and to increase the level of the fine arts and the arts in this community. You know, we don't have, not yet anyway, we don't have a big fine theater to bring in plays, but we will. There's so many things, and the arts are, people don't understand how important the arts are,
Right.
particularly to our children. And if we don't instill a love of the arts when they're young, they won't know what skills are missing by missing out on the arts.
Right. And you saying that, it was actually brought to my attention just recently by my daughter. She participated in the Wiregrass Artists Guild's Children's
Yes.
Art Festival. She was selected to have her artwork showed. And I said, well, Brawley, I said, when do you have art class? And she says, just whenever they can fit it in, Mama. And she actually had to finish up her artwork like during homeroom or something like that. So
Right.
arts aren't as prevalent in the elementary grades as what they used to be when I was coming up through.
You're right.
And
right.
I don't really know what it's like through middle school and high school yet, but I do believe it's, it's not as, I don't think a lot of attention is paid to that area like
Right.
it used to be.
Well, I can tell you that in the middle school and high school, they offer art.
Okay.
As an elective. They offer band and they offer chorus, but they do not offer theater.
Oh,
Theater isn't
wow.
offered until you get to high school.
Yeah.
And I've been kind of working with the board trying to say, come on, we need to get it back in the middle school just to
Right.
start planting these little seeds, which is, like I said, what we do as Coffee Alliance for the Arts.
Yes, and y'all have a really good program, and I don't know if you were ready to talk about this yet, but y'all have a really good program in the summer that you offer, the Children's Theater.
Yes,
Yeah.
the Missoula Children's Theater, which is wonderful. And I have never seen children so excited about anything. And every child will have a part in their play that they do. It's a 1-week theater camp that is held this year from June the 10th through June, it's that Saturday, June the 15th, I believe is what it is. And any child between the ages of, if they're going into first grade until they're a senior in high school, if they're going in as a senior in high
wow.
school, yes. So any child can do this. About 3 years ago, we started, it used to be free, but because the cost, in order to bring Missoula to Douglas, it cost us $5,000.
Oh, wow.
And just like everything else, people, they want to do, but they don't have the money to do, and we understand that. But we've had to charge $25 per student, but every student that comes
minimal.
in, that's minimal, you're right. But every student that comes in is guaranteed some part in that play, complete with a costume and a little dance that they do. Everybody is included in it, and it's just precious. Oh, and they also get a CD of their performance for mom and dad, grandmas. to
And
take home.
normally a CD costs $25.
That's
if not
right,
more.
that's
So
right,
That
that's
is
right.
that is really convenient
Yes.
for people and cost effective. Tell us some other things that are coming up. Like, do y'all have any plays or anything?
Well, I
else
can tell you
planned?
that we offer every year in the winter time after Christmas, we offer a play for the first graders. Every first grader in this county, whether it's the county school system, CCA, or even at First Academy at the churches, we offer them a chance for free to bring their students in to see a children's play. This year, the Valdosta State University Theater Department presented Tortoise in the Hare, Part 2. This time, it's personal.
Oh,
and
yeah.
I cannot tell you, this was the first time since I was at work and I was able to attend to go see the children. Oh my gosh, I've never seen so much excitement. Those children were coming off the bus. They were going, yes, yes. It was wonderful, just wonderful. And we provide that free of charge for all of these children to come and see. First seed planted.
Oh, yes.
So we just
definitely.
have to keep
and
on
then it
growing.
grows from there.
And it grows from there. Coming up this month, as a matter of fact, at Coffee High School is next week. We do the annual Coffee High Fine Arts Week, and we kind of tie some academic thought into it to tie in the arts, how the arts help in these ideas
Right.
in the world. So since this July is the first landing of the moon on the moon, we call this a brush with the future, and that's
wow.
our thought. And we've got this year we've got somebody coming that's going to do a demonstration with balloons. And there's a helicopter, and we have a former student who is now general manager of Gulfstream, Becky Elliott, will be coming over to talk with our business students and how important it is, the arts featuring into that. This is so neat that they can work all this then together. So that's coming up next week, and starting the 1st of April, it is our Munch and Music, which we're excited about every Wednesday at noon in Emma Ward Park. If you don't know where that is, it's right across behind the First Presbyterian Church on Ward Street, kind of right down from the Baptist Church. But it's free. Just grab you a lunch somewhere, bring it. We'll have some cookies and we'll have some drinks. And just come on and join us. We have students in the county to come and perform, and it's always highlighted at the end by the show choir. And if you've never seen the Coffee House Show Choir, you are really missing
Yes,
a treat.
they are missing
They're
out.
awesome, aren't they?
They are. They are
really are.
good. Now, you mentioned that cookies and drinks could be purchased.
Yes.
What are the costs for that?
I believe they're 50 cents a
Okay.
piece.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's not expensive, and they're fresh, homemade. We don't go to the store and buy them. We homemade the cookies, and we'll have water there to drink.
Okay.
But we'd like to have everybody come out and to see these youngsters perform. They are phenomenal, phenomenal.
They are. Now, I'll tell you one thing that I noticed. My son recently visited Valdosta State University, and we were in the orientation, and they were like, okay, I think they call it the fine arts or performing arts. If you're majoring in this, now's the time for you to go and, tour your area or whatever.
Right.
And I was amazed at the number of kids that stood up and walked out with them. I was almost like, really? All of these kids are going into fine arts or performing arts or,
Right.
some type of art field.
Right.
So there is a lot of things out there that if you are interested in art or
Yes.
music or ballet or theater or
Right.
whatever, you can get grants and be
And
able
scholarships, right.
scholarships to go
Right.
to school.
Absolutely. And not only that, I think people tend to think that, well, if I major in this, what am I going to do with it?
Right.
And you might become a teacher. And they're always looking for good teachers, whether it's in the performing
Most
arts
definitely.
or if it's in the visual arts.
All right. Well, Lisa, we appreciate you being here. Is there anything else really quick, could you tell us how can the community help you.
Thank you for asking that. I'll tell you one easy way. If you're on Facebook, first of all, friend the Coffee Alliance for the Arts. When you friend us, if you will, please share every post that we do. For example, you know, we're having the classic movie night on the third Tuesday of every month at the Rockin' 8 Theater. We have classic movies. This month it's Giant. Next month it's My Fair Lady on the big screen with the surround sound, and we're having people to wear their hats, you know, for the ascot. In this case, we're close to Easter there, so wear your finest hat. I think we called Gina about bringing the Red Hat ladies,
She has
and I
a
believe
lot
they're
of
going.
hats.
Yes, I believe the Red Hat ladies are going to join us that night. So,
that'd be
so
awesome.
it's only $5. $6:45 is what
see a
time it
classic
starts
movie
to see a
and
classic movie.
you can't beat that.
Third Tuesday in the month. You sure can.
All right. Well, we appreciate you being here, and we appreciate everything that the Coffee Alliance for the Arts does in our
Thank you.
community.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this. Hi, and welcome back to the Douglas on My Mind show. I'm Blondell Thomas, the Public Information Manager, and I am here now with Miss Jennifer Chilton. Thank you for being here, Jennifer.
Thank you for having me. I'm
Yeah.
excited to be here.
Jennifer is our new Visitor Information Center and Tourism Director.
Yes.
As Georgia spoke about earlier, the city has went through some changes this year, and we were so fortunate in that the Chamber stepped up and asked to be a part of tourism in our area and promoting Douglas and Coffee County, and helping to bring some more economic development and things to Douglas, which is always a really good thing.
Yes.
Fresh ideas, definitely. Because
Yes.
some of us, you know, I'm not getting old, but I'm just saying, you know, fresh ideas, young ideas is something good. It's really good for Douglas. So, Jennifer, just kind of tell us a little bit about the Visitor Information Center and what your role is with tourism here in Douglas.
Sure. So it's been, as you said, a new role for me. It's been really interesting to kind of go around Douglas and see some of the things that we have to offer. A lot of it's, you know, like hidden gems that I think are just really, really fun, and I'm excited to promote. So basically the Visitor Center is a resource for mostly visitors, but also locals.
Right.
If you are looking for any information about our area, our community, or anywhere else in Georgia, I have a lot of brochures, lots of information on some fun
Yes.
places to go. So we're basically just a resource for everybody. And I want the locals to know especially that, you know, I'm here for them, not just visitors. If you've got some family coming into town, I'd love to help you set up a tour or set up just an itinerary of things to do around town.
Right.
So that's kind of the visitor center. We're here to answer any questions anyone might have. And then basically my role with tourism, I have a role regionally, in the community and in the state. So it's been kind of interesting.
Believe me,
I know. You have been a lifesaver for me.
Yeah.
I didn't quite know everything that this position came with, but you've been amazing to help me out. So kind of taking on this role of representing Douglas. I'm kind of new to Douglas. I moved here last August, so still learning a lot. But it's been amazing, and it's honestly such an honor to represent Douglas in the state of Georgia. So my job is just to represent and promote the area as much as I can.
And you are definitely, I'm just going to give you some kudos now.
gosh.
You are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Because a lot has been thrown at you lately. I don't think a lot of people realize some of the travel aspects
Yes.
and other things like that. And also, like you were saying, you know, and I used to get so sick of hearing this. There's nothing to do in Douglas. But
Yes.
there is.
I'm like, there's
it's just
so
a
much
matter
to do
of-
in Douglas.
You have to open your eyes and see what's out there. Like, you know, some people don't realize that we have the most intact World War II air base.
Yes, I'm
I mean, we have
obsessed with
people
that. That
coming
is so cool.
from all over to come to our air base and to see
Yeah.
Mr. Riley and some of his planes and Mr. Brooks and his airplanes that are out there.
Exactly.
It is a tourist attraction.
It is, for
and,
sure.
People may not realize that, you know, seeing that gopher turtle on the side of the road
Yeah.
that you try to swerve and miss.
Yes.
Please do. That's actually an attraction because you don't
is.
see that everywhere.
That's right,
And
that's right.
one of the biggest things that I found out and I just thought was the craziest thing whenever I started in tourism was when I went by a field of cotton one day and there were people in the field taking pictures of themselves with cotton.
Yeah.
Who
Who knew
that
cotton
one?
was
Yeah.
an attraction? Yeah.
So you have to kind of think outside of the
Yep.
box, but you're doing an awesome job.
Thank you.
And the rest of the chamber staff and all. I mean, I know
Yes.
you've got some support there.
They've been
and,
amazing
yeah.
to help me out.
And tourism is economic development.
It is, yeah, it goes hand in hand perfectly. So it's been a really great fit.
Yes.
And it's been fun to see how some of the things I've been doing with the chamber, some of the people I've met have been able to help me out with the tourism. And
Right.
I know who to go to, and I know, you know, who could come up with a great idea to promote, you know, X, Y, and Z. So
Right.
it's been great.
So if you have an idea of something
Yes, contact me,
tourism-based,
please.
give Jennifer a call and we'll
Yes.
give you all her information, you know, when we finish up. But what is something else as far as some of the events that's coming up this year? I know y'all have a really big one coming up in April.
We do. So April 11th at the Central Square Complex Gym from 5 to 8, we're having our very first Taste of Douglas.
Yummy.
I know. I'm so excited. It's basically an opportunity for all the restaurants in the area, if they'd like to participate, to come. They'll provide samples of some food, and it's just open to the public. You just buy a ticket at the chamber office. They're $15 for one, $25 for two, so you can make it a date night.
Yes.
And buy 2 tickets, and it'll just be great. We'll have some live music, really great band that always participates in First Fridays. And yeah, we're just really, really excited about it.
Well,
Lots
tell
of
us
food.
some of the food or some of the restaurants that's already signed up.
Oh, y'all were so excited. So just today we had Harper's Cafe sign up.
Oh,
So
gosh.
good home cooking. And then we've had Danny's, Carter's Restaurant, and just some other really great ones. Tip Top. And let's see, we just had
Well,
so many.
And like you said, if a restaurant is interested,
Yes.
you don't have to you don't have to make an entire meal.
No.
It's just samples. It's just little
Exactly.
pieces. I
Yep.
mean, you don't have to try to fill somebody up with
Exactly.
your food
Exactly.
that night.
Yes. So if you want to, if your specialty, something you really, you know, are known well for, is your fried chicken. Cut up some pieces of fried chicken, bite size. You know, it doesn't have to be.
Toothpick.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, people just want to taste, and it's a really great opportunity for some restaurants who, you know, are popular around here, might want to start marketing a little bit more. It's a great opportunity for them. People can, you know, have a taste, and they'll think, man, that stuff was really good. I want to go back there and have a meal. You know, maybe make it a tradition, go back every week. So it'll be a really great opportunity, and we are just so excited to help promote these restaurants.
Now I know sponsorship-wise, y'all have
Yes.
some people that are coming in to help.
Yes, we do.
The City of Douglas, the Douglas Coffee County Chamber of Commerce, and the Industrial Authority. I believe the Main Street Merchants are coming in and
I
helping
think
out.
so. Yeah.
And I think Coca-Cola will be there with
Coca-Cola is going to
refreshments.
be our drink sponsor, and then we've got Eliano's as well, so we'll have
Okay.
some yummy
Oh.
coffee for Coffee County.
Get you a Coke and then go over there and get you some
Exactly.
more
I know,
caffeine,
you'll be
you
getting
know,
your Diet
caffeine overload.
Coke.
Yes, that's me, Diet Coke, most definitely. But McRae
Yes.
Coca-Cola has always been really good about
Yes,
helping out
they've
with
been
any
great.
of our
Yes.
programs. So after the event, what are y'all going to be working on?
So then we're working on a festival to happen in September. So first weekend of September. I know normally we have the barbecue and outdoor festival. We decided to switch it up a little bit, kind of give something else to try. So what we're going to do is, like you said, the gopher tortoise is a huge attraction. We're going to kind of market that and do a Go for Tortoise festival. Basically, it'll be a street festival where are going to have vendors and some food and entertainment, and it should just be a really fun time for people to come out on the weekend, spend some time, you know, downtown, and it should just be a really good time. We're really looking forward to it.
And like you just said, it is the festival is going to be back downtown.
Yes.
I know some people have said in the past, you know, with us having to, actually because the festival grew so large, we had to move it because we
Yes.
outgrew downtown. So once again, we're going to try it downtown again.
We're gonna
See,
try.
hey, maybe we can grow this one to where we have to move it.
There we go. That would be a very good problem to have.
Right, that's right. But if anybody has any visitor center information that they need, or if they have some ideas of an event
Yeah.
that they think would be good for Douglas, who would they need to contact?
Me, that would be great. I would love to hear from everybody. If you have any sort of ideas or anything in the community, any concerns, any questions, anything at all, I'd be more than happy to help you. You know, I just want to be a resource to people. And I
Right.
know everybody has fun ideas for the area. People who have been living here for years, growing up here, they know some special places. And since I'm new, I'd love to hear about it. So any way I can help, I'd
Right.
be happy to.
Right. Yeah, if you have that little secret hideaway or that secret niche that you want to tap into, I mean, any good ideas, you can always grow from that.
Yes,
But, you
definitely.
can contact Jennifer at the Douglas Coffee County Chamber of Commerce. The
That's
phone
right.
number there is 912-384-1873, or they can email you.
Yes,
if you're-
at jchilton@douglasga.org.
That's not too hard.
No.
And there's also a Visit Douglas Facebook page.
Yes, there is.
And anyway, anything you need to know about tourism, call her. Like
Yes,
me and
call
Georgia were
me.
saying earlier, we're switching up, and you call Jennifer about
Yes.
tourism and events that are coming up. And I'm excited about this partnership, and I think it's going to be great.
I agree with you, and you guys have been amazing. So thank you so much.
Thank you for being here, Jennifer, and we'll
course.
have to have you back as soon as we
Yes.
hear some more things
I would
that are
love
coming up.
to be back.
And really closer to the new festival.
Yes,
And
that would be
you'll
great.
We'll have more details.
Yes, once the Taste of Douglas is done, we'll have lots more details to share about the Go for Tortoise Festival.
All right. Thank you, and we'll see you soon.
Thank you.
We'll be right back after this. Hi, and welcome back to the Douglas on My Mind show, and I am thrilled to let you know that today I have Mayor Pro Tem Mike Gowan here with us, and going to put him on the spot for a few minutes and just ask him a few questions, just so everyone can get to know you a little bit better, and basically just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm married to the former Dorley Solomon. She was raised in Coffee County. Both my parents are originally from Coffee County. Both of them have passed away. My father's mother was Elizabeth Mormon. His father was killed in the Korean War, and she married Ross G. Mormon, who sold insurance for Gulf Life for a number of years, had an insurance agency. They attended First United Methodist here. So they've always lived here in town. My mother's parents lived out in the county. They were more kind of raised on the farm, and my grandpa drove a truck, and I would always come back. Let's see, we moved away from Douglas. My parents divorced when I was about 3, and I moved away, but I always came back to Douglas and Coffee County during summers and many spring breaks. So I always kind of stayed connected to Coffee County, and I always loved coming here. I eventually wound up in Jacksonville, Florida. My mother remarried down there, and it was all right, but I prefer a smaller town setting. So when I graduated high school, I moved back here and attended South Georgia College.
Okay.
I served a 2-year mission for my church out in California, and I came back here to finish at South Georgia College, lived with my grandmother here in town, and that's where I met my wife. She attended South Georgia College as well, and then we both attended Valdosta State University and got our degrees at Valdosta State University. My wife, her degree is in education, and my background was in political science, so I decided to attend law school. We went to Athens, the University of Georgia. By that time, we had our first 2 children, and after I graduated, we took a job in Albany, Georgia. Then I took another job in Tifton, Georgia, and then we had the opportunity to come back to Douglas, and we moved back here in 2007.
Oh,
We
okay,
went back
so
in
you've been around a little bit here
Yes,
and
ma'am.
there and everywhere.
Yes, ma'am.
That's really great, though, that y'all were able to further your education by you going to Athens, and especially with kids. That's
Yes,
something to
ma'am.
say.
Yes, ma'am.
That's a lot.
Yeah, I had a lot of great support from my wife in doing so. And, while I was here in Douglas working on my associate's degree at South Georgia and my bachelor's degree at Valdosta State, I worked full-time with the Coffee County Sheriff's Department. So I got to learn a lot about our community and got involved with a lot of different things and it really piqued my interest in the legal system and the criminal justice system. And so that's kind of what my professional background has become. That's a lot of my practices in, right now it's primarily in criminal justice area.
Okay, all right. Well, of course, you came back to Douglas, and a few years ago, you were elected as our city commissioner for Ward 4.
Yes, ma'am.
So how long have you been serving now?
I'm in my 4th year now.
4th year.
On the
Okay.
first term.
First term, all right. So with that being such a political position, here's a kind of a good question. What are some improvements that you've seen for the city of Douglas since you've taken office?
Well, we've had quite a few changes. I think probably the first major thing that we changed, we voted to allow ESG to also take over our Public Works Department. I believe when we first came in, they were handling the Water Department.
Right.
And they also have now since taken over Public Works. That's one of the things I think that program has worked well. I think it's worked well for our city and our community. And I think the workers are happy with that change as well. And
Right.
the more I've worked with that company and seen what they do and been around their executives, I've been impressed with the work that they do for us, but also they serve, sister cities, Waycross and Tifton as well. And everybody that I've talked to has been pleased with the results that they're getting from the company.
Yes.
And that's one thing that I like that we've been able to do. And I think if you look around the city, I sense an improvement in the way that we're looking.
Yes.
They're taking care of our streets and our public spaces, making sure that that it's properly manicured, so to speak. Our landscaping is done.
Right.
I like
because,
it.
As a lot of people may not realize is when you are dealing with economic developers and they come to town, one of the things they look at is what does the town look like.
Yeah.
So that is a very major role. Have you seen any other things, any other changes that you've been impressed by?
I think that we're kind of on the upswing of what we're trying to do economically here, trying to encourage economic development in whatever way we can. I think since we've come on, this commission's been serving this term, we've had some industries in the community like Elixir have expanded, and we're in negotiations now to hopefully get a couple of other good prospects to come in if things continue to go well. We look forward to having that increased investment in our community.
Right.
Jobs. That's our lifeblood.
Right. A lot of times people don't realize that when you are courting those other industries or other businesses to come to town, they look at everything. I mean, little things that people may not realize, like you were saying, as far as does the city keep up the grounds? Does the city keep up the parks? And they look a lot at the city to do all these things.
Yes, ma'am.
They look at the leisure services like the recreation department, and I know there are some big projects coming up with our facilities, so you want
Yep.
to tell everybody a little bit about those.
Yes, ma'am. I guess it'll be the biggest single building project that we've had in the city of Douglas's history. I
Right.
think longtime residents will recognize that obviously, City Hall would be one of those buildings right now that needs to be updated, long overdue. But in addition to that, we're going to centralize our operations for public works, our utilities. We'll have storage warehouses all on the same property. And in talking and meeting with our department heads and workers, that's going to be a big improvement they're looking forward to, not have to drive here and there all around town to get to places, to get different items. And also it'll be, it's a safer, more comfortable working environment for our city workers, which, is, we're in the 21st century. I think we need to have facilities that are reflective of that fact.
That's right.
In addition to the buildings, one thing that we've been excited about, I think that, particularly, I'm a father with 6 children. Right now, 5 of them are in the school system.
Mm-hmm.
Our children have always enjoyed participating in recreational sports in Douglas and Coffee County.
Right.
And the mayor feels the same way. We want to make sure that our youth are getting served. So there's going to be expansion of our recreation facilities.
Right.
And we're looking forward to that. That'll be down there. It's kind of what you know now as the Huckabee Complex. That's going to be drastically expanded. We're going to update the city pool, expand it, make it competition level. There's going to be a what we call the Miracle Field, where we'll be able to help some of our handicapped children and adults who maybe haven't had recreational opportunities in the past. We're hoping to give them opportunities that maybe they haven't been able to have.
Right.
And that's I'm looking forward to seeing that. Let's see.
That's a lot of our,
Yeah.
I think that pretty much covers those big projects that are coming up. And I am really excited about seeing the Miracle Field come to life, because if there was one thing that recreation was lacking, was serving the special needs kids and adults. And that's going to be a great plus to Douglas, I think. It'll even bring people outside of Douglas and Coffee County. And so will the new sports complex. And me being in the tourism world as many years as I was, sports tourism is a big thing.
It is.
And tourism is an economic development tool that people use and the state look forward to every year. Now, I'm going to flip it on you and ask you a little tough question, not too tough, but anyway, being in the political life and the political arena, what have you seen are some of the challenges that you've faced?
I think some of the challenges that we face as a commission come along with any time that you're working with a legislative body, whether it be, Congress or whether it be the Georgia General Assembly. We have 7 individual persons that make up our city commission, including the mayor, and everyone has their own unique background, their own point of view about things. They bring their own experiences to the table. So one of the challenges that we face constantly is how do we recognize and respect each other's point of view while dealing with those differences and coming up with solutions that work for the entire city.
Right.
The mayor reminds us often, and I agree, while I'm an elected to represent, the citizens of Ward 4, the work that we do on the commission is for the entire city of Douglas.
That's right.
It's not just for my people in Ward 4 or, somebody else's ward in town. What we do has an impact, and, we always have to remember that in the end, what we're trying to do is improve the quality of life and assisting all of our citizens in every ward, and even serving those folks that may not actually live in the city of Douglas but come here to work every day.
That's right.
Our daytime population, comes up to probably 20,000 people during the day with all the workers that come into our city. So those are probably some of the challenges that we face, and I think unfortunately we see the atmosphere in politics has become a lot more toxic over the last 3 or 4 years. So that's one thing that I conscientiously try to think about. What can I do to improve things? And I think the challenge is, and the thing that probably all of us as elected officials need to do is, when we have differences of opinion and disagreements, that we have to remember that while we may not agree on a particular issue, we may not have the same point of view, you still need to respect the other person.
That's right.
And if we can maintain that respect and civility as persons, even though we have different points of view, then hopefully we can, survive those challenges and when you have those stressful moments in trying to debate on different policies and different issues and or maybe a specific project that we're trying to get done here to benefit Douglas.
All right. Well, Mayor Pro Tem Gowan, are there any other updates you want to provide citizens with, or?
Well,
I know some things you have to kind of keep closed-lipped about, but anything that you can share?
Well, I think we're trying to get the word out, but we do, I think, have a timetable on some of these building projects that we're working on. We intend to get those started here in the spring, and the goal is to have the majority of those projects finished in December.
Wow.
You know, for instance, and that's a
lot.
Yeah, I anticipate that's gonna take us all, paying attention and working hard to get that done. It's pretty ambitious, but if it goes, that'll really, I think, improve not only the aesthetics, the way that our city looks, but I think it will improve people's experiences, our city workers, the services that our citizens receive from our departments, as well as our kids and other adults that are interacting with our recreational program.
Right.
That's one thing that I'm looking forward to. And again, hopefully, I know our Economic Development Commission are working with some prospects, both on the industrial side, bringing in jobs, and hopefully some retail opportunities will be coming. I'm told that it's now been approved for the ballot in November for the citizens to vote on whether or not we ought to have a tax allocation district.
Okay.
Which the purpose of that would help to encourage retail development in areas of our city, and hopefully maybe bring in some even more opportunities with maybe restaurants and bigger retail chains that until now we've all had to travel out of town to get to those places that we'd like to shop. We've had to go out of town to Valdosta, Macon, Savannah, Jacksonville, Florida, and if it works out, we like to have some of those same folks here in our town that we can just ride uptown to go shop here to do so. That's one thing that I'm looking forward to see if we can get that done. I think that'll benefit the entire community.
Right. Yeah, because a lot of times those new businesses and all, they want to know, well, what are y'all going to do for me, basically,
right.
to be able to get them here.
Yeah.
So it's really good that y'all are working with some new businesses and all, and hopefully we'll see some of those coming into town soon.
Yeah.
And actually some new construction going on down on the other end of town and things like that. So, well, is there a way that constituents can contact you if they have any questions or any concerns?
Yes, ma'am. I think if you go on the City of Douglas website, it's got my email address on there, which is mgowen, and that's GOWEN at cityofdouglas.com.
Right.
That's probably the best way to try to contact me during the day. A lot of times I'm not able to pick up the phone because of my job and quarter tied up. So email is a very good way, and leave me your contact information and what the issue is, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can.
All right. And then, of course, they can always contact City Hall.
Yes, ma'am.
The
If it's
city
an
manager's
emergency,
office.
yes.
All right. Well, we appreciate you coming on and talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you. We'll be right back after this. All right, and that's the end of our this segment of the Douglas on My Mind show. I'm Blondell Thomas, the City of Douglas Public Information Manager, and I hope to see you again next month.